Greeting Africans, and greeting particularly Cameroonian because this podcast is a special Cameroon, an implicit transition gone Awry to an Ubuntu Kama Renaissance from COAFRWO-UK perspective. Your host is Brother Beken Tungame Tilame Yodi, the father founder of COAFRWO-UK, the new Pan-African science. Dear brothers and sisters, dear Cameroonians, and across the vibrant, awakened Africa. In this special episode, we reflect on historical moment, the announcement of President Paul Biya candidacy for the next Cameroonian presidential election has sparked reactions, debate, and emotion, just as usual. But instead of reacting through conventional political medias or Western frameworks, we propose here a COAFRWO-logical reading rooted in ancestral African wisdom. Understanding the implicit transition gone Awry. What does that mean, really? By maintaining its candidacy, President Paul Biya does more than merely continue in power. It symbolically opens a door, a transition that is not formally declared, but one that manifests through signs, silence, and gestures. This implicit transition in the Ubuntu Kama perspective is not an electoral changeover in the Western sense. It is a transition gone awry, misunderstood, uncoded, because it has yet to take on the ritual, vibrational, and intergenerational form that African peoples recognize as legitimate. A new segment, Beyond Liberal Democracy, the need for an African model. In Ubuntu Kama thought, power is not size through competition. It is transmitted through vibrational anointment, ancestral covenant, and generational dialogue. Western style democracy centered on the individual vote disregards this sacred logic. Thus, from a COAFRWO-UK perspective, President Paul Biya's decisions can be seen as an opportunity for an African codification of political transition, only if it is accompanied by symbolic, powerful collective gesture. Let's move to the third point of our reflection, a Pan-African ceremony of the torch. Earmark, the Institute of Global African Contemporary Global African Studies the Institute propose a National Assembly of Traditional Chiefs held at the presidency to consult the custodians of the land and initiate the return of governance to the sacred African codes. A vibrational encounter between the president and Cameroonian youth, not as political performance, but as spiritual and existential transmission, where the Pan-African torch is handed over with consciousness and responsibilities. Song, blessing, drums, symbolics. These are the languages of our people. This is how African has always managed transitions. Let's move to the next reflection point here. Preventing uprising, restoring meanings. We warn against overly westernized readings that lead to anger and division. The true danger lies not only in the streets, but in disrupted imaginary. Restore vibrational order before the election is vital. The people need meanings. The youth need connections. Cameroon need a peace pact rooted in identity and dignity. Well, as a fifth part or segment against domesticated Pan-Africanism. So, some claim to be Pan-African but reject leadership while embracing Western norms. That is contradiction. Pan-Africanism without epistemic rooting becomes mimicry. COAFRWO-UK does not reject the state. It rebuilds it on our own foundations. Generational orders, vibrational governance, and the sacred transmission of responsibility. Well, segment 6, President Paul Biya, existing the Western model. President Paul Biya's current posture may also be interpreted as follows. He affirms national sovereignty. He resists imperialist pressures. He gradually values traditional figures. He reduced colonial diplomatic dependency. This signals a strategic shift toward a more African-rooted, more Ubuntu Kama paradigm, although it's not kind of ventilating these notions. But this shift will only be completed if it is ritualized, shared, and sacralized. So, as a segment 7, let's say this is our recommendations. This is our recommendation as an institute. These are the recommendation of the IEMAC, ICOS, the Institute for Contemporary African World Studies that I'm directing. We wish to see organize a sacred assembly of traditional chief, host a vibrational intergenerational gathering with youth at the Palace at Etudi to adopt an Ubuntu Kama code of governance in Cameroon to align with other African countries that are taking this step, to create a Pan-Africans Epistemic Transition Council, and to launch a cultural and political rerouting campaign. So to conclude this podcast, let me put it this way. Cameroon at the crossroad of global African renaissance. The choice is before us. How are we going to recognize? How are we going to identify? How are we going to see that Cameroon is aligning itself with other African African countries such as Mali, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Niger, that are into this change of paradigm, that we know we don't have a choice, really. We really don't have a choice. We will get into it. It's a reality that is there. There is no a country that will escape. So is Cameroon really into the game of the change of paradigm, whereby Africa is entering into this big move, the big move that Thabo Mbeki once upon a time I've seen, I've visualized, I've had as a vision. So either we remain trapped in neo-colonial and conflict-prone model, or we build a sacred path toward epistemic and vibrational sovereignty. It's simple as that. Or we move to join where the cosmical energy is coming to allow this global African renaissance, or we stay behind. We stay completely behind. But we can say here that Cameroon is practically in the same fight, in the same war as the state of the Sahel, but in a completely different dimension, in a completely different shape. But it's the same fight. But well, this time, let's say for us Cameroonian, the time is now. The time is now. The time is now. We can acknowledge that President Paul Biya worked hard, particularly in this particular field of sovereignty, to take us out of the French and whatever it was, domination and control. One thing for sure we can say in Cameroon is that we are almost all the way out of the control of French colonizer. I said it with really some kind of bracket, because you never know. But one thing for sure, we are entering in an era where African need to return to what is logic, what is right, what is theirs, what is our practice, what's offered to us through the new science that are coming, that are just pouring at some of us, just as COAFRWO to kind of come to fix the way, to guide, to show the direction and offer new paradigm that are models that are enabling to shift everything from where we were under the dominance, the extreme dominance of French people. So this is it. This is what we're talking about here. It's time for Cameroon. It's time for Africa. We just wish people surrounding the president could take this opportunity to do the right thing. To do the right thing, because most Cameroonian today are Pan-Africanism. And one thing we need to do is to allow people like myself to come to Cameroon and teach to Cameroonian, to explain to Cameroonian what Pan-Africanism stand for these days in this 21st century in regard of elections and all this kind of thing. Because we're getting mixed message, we're getting confusion that is completely put out there in social media by some African that are brilliant, that are very, very good speakers, but that are misleading people in terms of explaining to people what exactly we need to do at this specific time. Because you cannot be preaching elections and a system that we've been fighting for, our forefathers have been fighting for. You, a Pan-Africanist, you still fight, you still promoting election, you still talking about election, you still mentioning that people are going, and you still organizing whatever you're organizing for people to go through all elections that are not a system that is suitable for Africans. This is where I'm coming from, and I'm saying, what exactly are we doing? We that are proclaiming ourselves as Pan-Africanists, scholars and intellectuals and whatsoever you want to name them, philosopher or whatever, what kind of intelligence today we are offering to our nation? What kind of advices are given to support our countries, our government? Because our government are not, we can see that they're not fully aware of what is happening in terms of the paradigm shift. Of course, in state of Sahel, you can notice that these guys, they did their homework. They are prepared. They know exactly what is happening and they are fully prepared, ready just to move. And this is why these guys, Abdullah Diop, all these guys, they know exactly what they have to do. This is why they don't have time to waste. They don't have time to Ibrahim Traore in his mind. Everything is clear. Abdulrahman Chani, Assimi Goita, all these guys are in the same alignment, just as myself, in terms of paradigm change. I was given the science by our ancestor to come just to provide the theory, the theory of what is going to happen and what is happening. I finished my work. My work is a science, is a new field of study that is called COAFRWO-UK. And quite recently, after printing 10 books that are confirming the COAFRWO-UK as a science, a new science to support the move of Africa toward everything that is happening today, toward its renaissance, toward its regeneration. Well, I try to follow the procedure that are normal procedure to set up a charity organization, an institute in Cameroon. 3 months down the line, I'm still there waiting to get an authorization, an agreement, a paper that will allow me to start moving into the country and explain, to do conferences, seminars, join some university program, offer some university program to start teaching COAFRWO-UK. But I'm stuck simply because in Cameroon, whenever you want to do in Cameroon, what you will face what they call the almighty difficulty, because Cameroon colonization was, let's say, made to force Cameroonian to just mentally drain each other. Cameroon is a type of country where living in Cameroon and dealing with administration, you have to expect to at least spend some stressing moment of your life that you will not forget. Because administration in Cameroon mean draining. They would drain you. They would completely, they would do what French colony, what the program, the colonization, the French colonization, that is a draining program, a sucking program, a completely emptying you program would do. Psychologically, mentally, they will drain you until you give up. So we're into that process where the person that is kind of following up with the procedures is going through files being lost into ministerial services, and we being always asked to bring a new documentation to create this to start this procedure. And here we are. I'm stuck with 10 books that are supposed to be in the market and to be promoted and to be put at the disposal of students that are already joining the institute, the EMAC online, because most of these Cameroonian people that we're dealing with think I'm an established, maybe rich person in the UK that is running the institute already. No, I kept my concept, my project completely out of any contact, any contract, just because I want to leave the exclusivity to any African country, but I put the preference in my own country because I'm first of all Cameroonian. I was born in Cameroon. Whatever is on me that came out of this work, this science, is first of all a gift that was put on me by my ancestors. So I wanted to go back to Cameroon to say thanks to my ancestors and offer this heritage that is just, for me, I believe is an heritage that's supposed to get into the list of realization our country can claim in the future or in the present as being the emanation, the generator. But if you see, if you experience what we experience on the field with administration in Cameroon, it's unbelievable. So we we end up start because this project is meant to be present. The institute, the EMAC, the ICAUS, EMAC, the Institute for Contemporary African Study, is supposed to be in every African country. So we decided to slow down with Cameroon as we're facing what we're facing, we're experiencing what we're experiencing is time wasting that we're going through. Well, the funny thing is we've sent a letter to the presidency, and the presidency requested the High Commission to have a meeting with me, something that was done, and it was very nicely and very uplifting meeting that I really appreciate. But down the line, here we are. I don't know which report have been done to Cameroon, but one thing for sure: whenever the person that is following the procedure in Cameroon are going through close to the presidency staff, well, the presidency staff are saying they are waiting to get the information, the documentation that we're supposed to bring coming from the prefecture or the Minister of Territorial Affairs. That is completely where our application is, with people that are saying that, well, they don't understand certain terminology because they are too complex to understand, so they can't sign the document because they don't understand what globalization mean, they don't understand what contemporary mean. Well, just things that you ask yourself, what's going on here, what's going on. So this is where we are, and just to register an institute called Global African Institute for Global African Studies, create what a situation that is, I don't know. I need to go to Cameroon myself and go to each department and really video, and listen to what each of the person is telling me, because it's just so surreal and it's so unbelievable. But this is the country where I was born. This is the country I was raised. I know exactly what it is. But we wish this to change, because we cannot enter into a global African renaissance. Cameroon cannot be part of the global African renaissance with such a practice, with such a morality that is a colonial morality that is there in Cameroonian administration, whereby each process, each procedure within which any Cameroonian put himself into with this administration, he need to struggle, he need to suffer. We grew up in Cameroon believing that suffering was into our DNA. Suffering was something normal. But while doing my studies on this project that I came out with this science, I came out with a concept that is called EC8, the ECAD, the existential condition of African and African descent. That I asked myself, so all the experiences Cameroonian people are going through are fabricated condition to make their life difficult, to slow their process of doing things and make the country, the economy, the entire economy slowing in a very slowing pace. Well, we need to get things right. And my message is clear. I'm talking now to the authority of Cameroon. We are in a dynamic of walking toward what I call the global African Renaissance. Is a concept that I walk on toward the COAFRWO to bring a new strength to all African government, all African authorities, to start thinking about what it is. As much as we are considering that concept and we working toward it, we putting our children, our students to study it. It's gonna happen. It's not supposed to be just slogan that people should be talking during big assembly, Pan-Africanist assembly and stuff like that. We need to start once and for all designing concepts that are relevant, that are important, that are responding to the need of local people first, then the entire nation. But most of the time, we're dealing with situation where people are bringing concept, they are picking from I don't know where, that are places that things that do not have any implication with what is happening in our country. This is why most of the time all these conferences, all this colloquium that's supposed to be having concept, having a terminology that are pushing things to change in the country, doesn't bring any change. Doesn't bring any change. This is why we're still there. Things are going around with terminology that people are familiar with, that are kind of standard, that are accepted, because this is what colonization mean. Colonization mean a choice of a certain word that the administration accepts, and the choice of certain word that the administration doesn't accept. So how are we going to move? How are we going to change the country if we do not have the capacity to put into place concepts that are strong elements that are providing change? Because we can't change paradigm if these concepts are not put into place. This is it. So I'm sending this message to the service of the presidency, the president of the Republic of Cameroon, and say, well, we don't know what else we have to do. Whether the presidency can deliver us a special agreement to run our NGO or our charity organization and set up our institute in Cameroon, then we can start operating. Otherwise, we will be turning around with these people that are definitely we the question that these Cameroonian people, brothers and sisters, are asking us are just corruption. You can just see the corruption, the leading question of corruption, this big project. Oh, so me, what am I going to benefit there? What am I going to eat there? What am I going to have from there? People today in Cameroon function in terms of, I have to benefit. If I've got something in my hand, a document that I need to sign, an authorization that I need to give, I need to pay, I need to get paid for it. But the problem is, this is a process that is a quite studious project. That is a project that is coming from the head of state. It's the head of state that is asking us to provide certain documentation that are going to help us to have the support that we're asking from the head of state. Because I can't personally print 10 books that need to be print into a thousand of copies that are going to be spread all in Africa. I can't do that by myself. This is why I have to go through the head of state, and then through the institution, because we will be a non-profitable organization. We can fundraise, we can do all sort of things, we can run everything that we need to run to have this organization up and running. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. This is it. This is what we have to do. The books are ready. The books are there, and what we need is just to have the authorization in the country, and this is it. The whole thing will be done. So, but if it's not done, well, I will assume that perhaps my ancestor doesn't want this to happen that way. And by the way, we already have some African countries that are also are interested to run this event in their country, because, as I say, each African country, we will move around each African country to plant the IMAC, the Institute of Contemporary African Studies. That's one thing for sure. I will be just embarrassed to realize that I didn't succeed with my own my own country, while in other African countries I've been called to come and start the procedure to instill. It's going to be in the story, the history of coaphrology, that the first country where I wanted to run the first colloquium for the coaphrology, where I was going to introduce, to present the science and the books and all the concepts that are coming to support, to validate this science. Well, I wasn't given the chance, I wasn't given the opportunity, because people are sitting in their office in Cameroon, behind their desk, well, thinking that the planet revolve around them whenever they are there, and they have to sign a piece of paper that is needed toward a process of offering documentation that allows somebody to run his business. So, well, this is it. This is. I'm aware of it. It doesn't even affect me otherwise, apart of the fact that symbolically, I couldn't have the opportunity to come to the country to thank my ancestors and have this solemn moment with the authorities and the whole countries to introduce this new science. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. But what can we do? So this podcast is also an academic scientific article that I've written, that is on academia.edu, but there is also, among the 10 books that I have to print in several copies, there is a book that is explaining exactly what is going on in Cameroon with this actual transitional electoral transitional period. We have to be able to explain to Cameroonian what is going on, because as much as people have an understanding of what is going on, it is tension, it is stress, it is all kind of dissonances, because all these things, for me as a pedagogist, as a coaphrologist, are not good for the country. The authority needs to come with clear explanation of what is happening, instead of all this mystical silence, all this gesture that need to be analyzed by sometimes people that really don't have a clue about what is happening. And yet we need just some gestures, some symbols, like I suggest that the head of state should move ahead and take things further and act like a patriarch, like a proper African patriarch, and say, well, this is what we do as a Bantu, as an Ekang man, and loyal to our African tradition. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're doing. It could call youth from the 10 provinces and meet with them at the president's, and also choose potential, youth that is considering even his own children. Why not his own children? The president can also invite his own children, because they are Cameroonian. They're part of the country, and they are part of this power struggle that is into play now. And I think it should be a good idea to invite Cameroonian. It will pacify, it will bring some peace between all this confusion, between opposition that is also confused between the tide that they've got with the colonial forces. It's completely madness. I don't understand why we're trying to get out of colonial tide. We've got some people that are still running behind French or whatever to bring us back into these nonsense. No, come on, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We want to move, and we want to move forward, and we need to take back our sovereignty in Cameroon. That's what it's all about. After that, I think some people will regret the position they are taking today, because nothing will stop the wave of the global African Renaissance. Some people will be exposed. They will be exposed. And I think as they start migrating to France, the migration won't stop, because there will be a time in Africa these people will feel unease to be in the continent. That's one thing for sure. It's something that I'm saying today. I'm not sending a message that some people should be chased or whatever, but we will get to that point, because our global African Renaissance matter. is far more important than people that are wishing to stay glued to old-fashioned, old methods that are not taking us really nowhere. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this first podcast of the day. Well, let's say I'm wishing you a lovely day, and stay tuned with us. Sign in to my social media. Don't forget, we've got a YouTube channel that is called Global COAFRWO. So tune in and see. We've got quite a lot educational videos, quite entertaining stuff as well. We're just starting, and just bear with us, and we're doing our best to kind of bring you more material. You can also check our academic work for students. There is a lot of material, piece of essays, an article on academia.ag. You just check, you type coafrology, or you type Pekentonga Metilame Yodi. You also have many articles written by myself, and now we having our students that also that are producing material based on coafrological lens, which is quite interesting. And also we will start our virtual classes to prepare people that are interested to become coafrology lecturers. So we will start the training pretty soon. So if you're interested to start showing some interest on coafrology, you want to have a clear understanding of what coafrology is, or just drop us a message and inform us, let us know. If you are a student in one of the university in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, please get in touch with me. This is how many students are working with me and also improving the quality of their assignment, their essays, their whatever they are doing, because they are doing their work in the coafrology standpoint, the coafrology perspective. That is a boost, that is a serious boost in terms of vision in the work these students are producing now. So don't stay behind, jump in the bandwagon and become the Koamwa, the warrior, the academic, the intellectual warrior, to make the global African Renaissance a reality. Now, not tomorrow, no, now. Join us now. If you feel the fighting spirit on you, join us. Thank you. Bye now.